Just a couple more minutes here, obviously. There you see the base of the rocket, the 7 BE-4 engines.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is NG2. We are at T-minus 20 seconds. We are currently in a hold because we had a terminal count abort. Our team, like I said, is currently investigating. So while everything is getting sorted out, we're going to toss it back over to NG2 on the pad and give you more information as it becomes available to us. Welcome back, everyone. You are currently watching the webcast for NG2. Right now, our team is investigating, and we are expecting them to reset the clock. But in this moment, since we have a little bit of time, Ariane, I would like to take our focus and talk a little bit more about ESCAPADE and how it's going to help scientists learn more about the atmosphere on Mars.
Our friends over at NASA put together this great explainer on the importance of ESCAPADE. Let's take a look.
Mars, once a warm, watery world with a thick atmosphere. Now, a cold, arid landscape with its atmosphere thinned out. What caused this transformation? And how could this environment affect future Mars explorers? NASA's new ESCAPADE mission aims to find out. The Escape and Plasma Acceleration and Dynamics Explorers mission will help us understand Mars's climate history using 2 spacecraft in orbit for the first time.
ESCAPADE gives us what you might call a stereo perspective, 2 different vantage points simultaneously. This will allow us to really make measurements we've never made before.
The mission is studying the planet's real-time response to the solar wind, a relentless flow of particles from the sun that have stripped away the Martian atmosphere. ESCAPADE's twin spacecraft fly in 2 different formations to see how Mars responds to the solar wind in both time and space. The first formation allows ESCAPADE to observe rapid changes in the Martian atmosphere caused by sudden variations in the solar wind.
When we have 2 spacecraft crossing those regions in quick succession, we can monitor how those regions vary on timescales as short as 2 minutes up to 30 minutes.
In the second formation, ESCAPADE will study both the solar wind and the upper atmosphere of Mars simultaneously for the very first time.
We'll have 1 spacecraft in the solar wind so we can measure what's coming in, and then 1 spacecraft closer to Mars. This will help us understand the cause and effect of what's happening when space weather comes to Mars.
ESCAPADE will also help us prepare to send human explorers to the Red Planet. For example, ESCAPADE will give scientists more details about Mars's upper atmosphere that future astronauts will use to send radio and navigation signals around the planet. ESCAPADE's work could also help keep future Mars explorers safe.
The atmospheres can provide a shield that protect humans and other assets on the surface from things like solar radiation or intergalactic radiation. So it's important for us to understand how the atmosphere is changing.
NASA's heliophysics fleet is looking at the sun's influence, and with ESCAPADE, we'll now have multi-point measurements at Mars, which will help us have a more comprehensive picture of what's happening throughout the solar system.
Yeah, just fascinating what ESCAPADE, what these 2 satellites are going to figure out. And ironically, wouldn't it have been so cool to have these 2 satellites up there right now? Earlier this week, obviously, we had a couple of some solar flares.
That's right.
That came off of the sun, what we call coronal mass ejections, and it has just we had to play it extra safe for our customers because it can essentially, if you don't do it right, it can fry the electronics on the satellites, right? So if we had launched, and we were prepared to launch, if we had launched but then put the satellites up there and then it can't deploy its solar arrays, the computers don't turn on, you can't just go up there and pick up the satellite and repair them. Like, that's why those 2 beautiful satellites called Blue and Gold,
NGS2,
after the UC Berkeley colors. So that is why we decided to take a little bit of time. But as I said, can you imagine what these 2 satellites would have been able to observe if they were already in the Martian orbit? But for the future, they're going to be up there and taking plenty of data in to be able to do analyses, of course, for our friends at NASA and all of us that are helping build future missions to go to Mars, both for robotics, satellites, but also, fingers crossed, one day for humans.
That's right, Ariane. So if you're just joining us right now, you are looking at New Glenn NG2 out there on the pad. Let's take a moment, toss it back over to the rocket while our team is investigating an issue. All right, welcome back, everyone. You are looking at NG2 out there on the pad. You might have noticed we have reset the clock at L minus 27 minutes and about 15 seconds to go. We are recycling and resetting the clock with a new T0 of 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, while we have a little bit of time and you see New Glenn out on the pad in all of the New Glenn glory that rocket is, we have to talk about what is sitting in GS2, and that is Escapade. Now, I actually had the opportunity and the honor to catch up with Dr. Joe Westlake to talk about solar weather effects and how that can affect satellites and what we can expect from the deployment of Escapade. Dr. Joe Westlake, heliophysicist at NASA. We are so honored to have you here with us in the studio. First off, let's talk about heliophysics.
Yeah, so really excited to be here, really excited to see the Escapade launch go up, really jazzed. And heliophysics, right? So heliophysics is an interesting word. It's fascinating because, you know, one, it doesn't exist in the dictionary yet, which is really an interesting thing. We hit our slang era in heliophysics. Merriam-Webster actually just picked it up. But heliophysics is like the science of the sun and everything that it touches. So when we think about Escapade, folks would say, well, like, what does heliophysics have to do with some Mars mission? Why do we care about what the sun does to Mars? Well, you know, Escapade is a space weather mission. We're going out to ensure and protect the space weather effects on Mars, on our astronauts, on our spacecraft that are there at Mars. And as we saw over the last couple of days, space weather is kind of a big deal,
It certainly is. Can you kind of talk about how space weather affected our launch?
Yeah, so hopefully folks over the last couple of days got to see some really pretty, like, light.
The Aurora Borealis, as they call it.
Just incredible, right?
Stunning.
You know, we saw across the U.S., even down here at the Florida at the Space Coast.
Space Coast, yeah.
Right, we saw a red aurora sat over top of our rocket. And that's really cool, like, that's a pretty light show. But what that really means is that the magnetosphere is kind of angry, right? It's got a lot of energetic particles that have come in from the sun, right? A coronal mass ejection came in, multiple coronal mass ejections came in from the sun, and they pushed into our magnetosphere, creating, you know, space radiation that can cause issues for our spacecraft, which, of course, you know, in the early days of any mission, they're a little bit fragile, right? It's sort of early days. We want to get the solar arrays deployed. We want to get the mission up and ready to go and safely out to Mars. And those early activities are really critical for us.
Certainly. So for people who don't know, tell me a little bit more about the heliophysics tied in to Escapade.
Yeah, so, you know, when we go out to Mars, right, we're looking at how space weather, how the solar wind, how these coronal mass ejections and flares impact the Martian atmosphere, how they impact Mars as a system, how they impact and change how, you know, atmospheric escape happens at Mars.
Because Mars doesn't have the same atmosphere that we do here on Earth, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's always been a big question, right? When I look at the difference between our beautiful planet here on Earth and the water and the oceans and other things, why is Mars so different, right? There's a great question that relates to how Mars's atmosphere has escaped over the years, over the decades, over the millennia. And Escapade's actually going to deliver to us a better understanding of whether the atmospheric escape changes in time or changes in space, right? And so getting that feeling and getting that understanding will let us figure out how Mars has changed over its history and be able to conserve and understand how that applies to us here at Earth.
And for the first time, we have a lot of firsts, actually. So we have 2 satellites that are deploying that are going to give us information. And on top of that, this is the first time we are deploying not during the critical Mars window. We're actually going to go into kind of this, like, lollygagging phase just for a little bit until we hit that window. Can you kind of explain that?
So isn't that amazing? Like, usually when you think about the planets aligning, right? I mean, the greatest planet alignment was when we sent the Voyagers out in the 70s, right? All the planets have aligned. We've gone and done the grand voyage, right? But as you go to Mars, every 2 years a window opens up where you can make the most efficient trip to Mars. And all that means is that Earth and Mars are in the right spot of the trajectory or the right spot of their travel every year to where you can actually get from one to the other. So once every 2 years, we line up and we make this, you know, it's like how many Mars missions can we get off the ground in that one window?
In that little window, yeah.
But one of the great things, one of the innovations that we're doing here with Escapade today is we're actually going to send it outside of that window. We're going to send it outside of that window because we can put it into a very benign, safe parking orbit and let it sort of hang out, loiter, hang out near us here at Earth. So we can make some measurements about the space weather here around Earth, and we can prep for those spacecraft to then, with their own propulsion, get themselves out to Mars when that window opens. We always talk about how, you know, spacecraft are, frankly, the safest out in space, right? There aren't earthquakes or hurricanes or other things to worry about when they're out in space. And plus, we always love to have amazing data that come down from our spacecraft, almost no matter where they are.
Certainly. And what's interesting is we're sitting here in 2025, but this mission is really going to take, I mean, it's 5 years when you also count all the way to when we're going to get the data that starts to come back, right? So 2025, around 2027 is when Escapade will actually be at Mars, and then it starts kind of being reoriented. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, we have a couple of different orbit scenarios with Escapade because we have different questions, right? So one of the questions is, I want to be able to follow, have a leading following orientation of the two spacecraft, and I want to see how things are changing in time by doing that. But then we're also going to spread them out in longitude, so like east-west. And we're going to try and fly them somewhat side by side. But then we're going to ask questions that are like, okay, what's the inside the Martian atmosphere versus the outside? And there's a lot of dynamics and other things that we can do with these, you know, really two very capable spacecraft that we're sending out to Mars.
And another cool thing about your job is you get to work with Dr. Nikki Fox. I was able to grab her into our webcast the other day.
Yes.
But today's a special day for her, right?
Yeah, it's a really special day. So, you know, when we talk about having rockets and lighting candles and other things, you know, this is her birthday. So we get to light a candle today. I think it's going to be really amazing to be able to,
quite the birthday candle.
Obviously, we're not going to blow it out until we get Escapade up and moving, but quite the candle, and it's amazing.
Well, let's send it off to Dr. Nikki Fox. Happy birthday, Dr. Fox, and go NG2.
Yeah, excellent. Go New Glenn, go Escapade, and we're just so jazzed to be here.
And we're so grateful to have you as a customer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Heliophysicist, who knew? Not in the dictionary, and he gave us so much good information, of course, on why we're affected by essentially that solar weather. So right now, you are looking at New Glenn on the pad as we await the launch of NG2, L- about 20 minutes. But let's take it back over to our very own Eddie Seifert, who is with employees right here at Rocket Park at the best spot to watch New Glenn take to the skies. Eddie, how are things over there?
Hey Tabitha, hey Ariane, we are on top of the world. That's certainly what it feels like on this momentous occasion. And you know, I changed up the view a little bit. Behind me, you see Lunar Plant 1. That's our newest building at Rocket Park. Now, Rocket Park sits on 250 acres of what used to be an orange grove. That was pre-2016. Since 2016, we've added 2.5 million square feet of production space. And our newest building, it's building the lunar landers that are going to help NASA and help Blue Origin return to the moon, this time to stay.
And Eddie, I think we talked about this a little bit on our last webcast. That building behind you is massive. It's hard to tell because you're elevated yourself, but maybe you can talk a little bit to the scale of that building, as well as its location relative to other facilities here at Rocket Park.
That's right, Ariane, if you're ever driving on Space Commerce Way, you'll see it. You'll see just how massive it is, right? If I'm standing on top of the world and that building's even taller, it's tall enough to house the 16-meter tall lunar lander, which is twice as big as the Mark 1 101 Pathfinder that we're going to launch to the moon later this year. When that lunar lander lands on the moon, it will be the largest lunar lander to have ever landed, and we're just going to get bigger from there. So we're very excited about Mark 1 later this year or early next year, and then Mark 2 to return humans to the moon, this time to stay. And you mentioned the co-location. So the fact that we can be co-located with New Glenn means that we can encapsulate that very large lander in the very large New Glenn fairing here on site, and then we can drive it out to our integration facility to essentially place it on top of the New Glenn vehicle, much like we have Escapade today.
Eddie, thank you so much. Always so great to talk to Eddie because he can talk at hours and at length about anything to do with engines, with lunar, and of course, he's our hype man out there with everyone here at Rocket Park. Thank you again. If you didn't notice, on his shirt actually are little lunar landers as well. But right now, we're going to toss it over to New Glenn on the pad as we await the launch of NG2. And in about 30 seconds here, we're going to hear another go pull. So let's go ahead and listen in. Welcome back, everyone. You are currently watching NG2. Now, we are awaiting the go poll for terminal count. Right now, we're in a hold and we're getting more information. But do stay with us. Keep your eyes on that screen because New Glenn is out on the pad and looking absolutely fantastic. All right, everyone, you have your eyes on New Glenn. This is NG2. We're at L minus 18 minutes and about 40 seconds. Now, coming up at the 17-minute mark, we will have that poll for terminal count. But Ariane, right now, I want to talk about how incredible this rocket is, how unique this rocket is. Can you kind of walk through for our viewers what makes this vehicle so unique?
Sure. It's a two-stage vehicle. If you were able to tune in on Sunday, you saw a little bit of this explanation. But basically, when you talk about a two-stage vehicle, all that means, for those of you that are not rocket nerds like us, is that we're just stacking a rocket on top of a rocket. GS1, Glenn Stage 1, is the one on the bottom. It pushes Glenn Stage 2, the rocket on the top. And then on top of Glenn Stage 2, GS2, you see that shroud in there. That's the payload fairing. In the payload fairing today are our payloads, NASA's Escapade, the 2 satellites. But what makes this rocket so special? We're going to land the first stage. The first stage is reusable. And what's cool about this first stage in particular is, we've had our New Shepard program, our suborbital program. We've learned so much from that rocket program. And there's actually some interesting similarities between the two, but also some differences. Up here, you see that we've put we call them now the forward fins at the top. Those help with the directional capability. New Shepard also has those. But this one, we also have the strakes. We want to be able to essentially fly this rocket back home and relight the engines. So it's a beautiful rocket. I cannot see it do its thing this first time in just a couple of minutes here.
I know. And at L minus 17 minutes, let's listen in for that go poll for terminal count. All right, guys, we have New Glenn on the pad, and the reason I have my computer in front of me is so I can tell you these great things. So we are go for terminal count at L minus 15 minutes and 30 seconds. You are watching NG2, New Glenn on the pad, the booster so appropriately named. Never tell me the odds, Ariane, and a great day to fly.
A beautiful day to fly. Looks a lot better than it did on Sunday. We were just constantly fighting the Florida weather down here. It would be sunny, and then it would be rainstorm, lightning, and then it would be sunny again. It was a lot going on. But today is a beautiful, beautiful day to fly. So as you mentioned, we're now at L minus 15 minutes to go from New Glenn's second launch. And Tabitha, you recently had the chance to chat with our CEO, Dave Limp, about NG2, today's mission, and what this mission means for science and for our company.
Yeah, you can see Kent right there on your screen. Hey, guys, giving you lots of love right here from the desk. Also thinking about our guys in Huntsville, Alabama, Van Horn, Texas, and of course, right here in Rocket Park. Now, when I got to talk to Dave, not only did he share his message to the more than 10,000 employees here at Blue Origin, some of which you see on your screen, but also how important NG2 is to focus on for our customers. This is a really big moment for Blue Origin. Can you tell me how NG2 compares to NG1?
Yeah, I think NG1 was obviously our first mission. There was lots to learn, and we did learn a lot, and unbelievably successful in that we made our goal, which was to get to orbit. This time we're going to be a little bit more ambitious, and we want to not only get to orbit, but we have our first paying customer this time with Escapade and get them off to Mars. That's the first part of our goal, and then the second part of the goal is to land the booster out on Jacqueline. And if we don't, we have more over here in the factory that we're building, but we're going to give it our best shot.
Never tell me the odds is pretty fitting for this booster. We are taking our second attempt at landing it for the first time. How are you going to feel if we land it?
Well, I certainly will not channel my inner C-3PO. I will be very ecstatic. I will be on pins and needles up to that point, but it would be a huge achievement for the team and for Blue. I think that we have a good chance, but if we don't, like I said, we can build more, but I will be over the moon if it happens.
Now, New Glenn is obviously just one of the many systems we have here, right? We have New Shepard, we have Lunar, we have In-Space Systems. How are all of those organizations really working together to further our ultimate goals?
Yeah, I think each component of what we do has a piece of trying to get millions of people to work and live in space, and they all have their individual. But as it relates to this particular mission, a huge amount of people have put work into it. Obviously, our engines team in building both the engines for the booster, the BE-4s, and the BE-3Us for the upper stage. We also have a huge amount of work by the obviously New Glenn team building this vehicle, but also New Shepard has been a pathfinder. So all our avionics folks fly on New Shepard first so that we can get a sense of what's going on there and get a sense what it's like to have flight-ready hardware. And so it takes a whole team, and it's a very big cross-functional effort across Blue.
You know, we have more than 10,000 employees here that are very excited about this moment. I'm one of them. What is your message to those who are going to be watching our webcast and be watching NG2 take to the skies?
Well, I think everybody will be a little bit on pins and needles, I'm sure. But I would say that this is a culmination of a lot of work from a lot of teams. It's not the end point of our journey. Obviously, we have a lot more rockets to make and a lot more customers to make happy as we move forward. But to the extent we're successful here, I hope everybody at Team Blue takes a pause, smiles a bit, celebrates, because it'll be a great achievement for us. And we'll take that deep breath, we'll sort of embrace the moment and then move on, because we have a lot of customers waiting for us to succeed. And there's nothing that makes you happier in business and in your life when you see the smile on customers' faces.
Did you ever think that you would be doing something like this in your career when you're watching your rockets launch? No?
No, not in a million years. I was very happy making Fire TVs and Echoes, but it is a boyhood dream, and so to be able to have it, I kind of pinch myself every day and just amazed that I get to wake up and help this and lead this amazing team of people build incredible technology like New Glenn.
I mean, and in reference to that, one of the first things they ask you when you come onto Blue Origin is, what is your first memory of space? What is your first memory of space?
Yeah, I have a lot of pictures. It turned out my third, fourth, and fifth birthday, I have these old Polaroids of the cake, and they all have rockets on it. I was enamored with rockets as a kid, and never took the path where I thought I'd be running a rocket or a rocket company. But it turns out that it was very early in my life that I had a lot of love for it.
And we're so grateful to have you here at the helm. Dave, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Obviously, so great to get to talk to Dave, especially when we're kind of on the edge of this historic moment. But like he said, no matter what happens today, we have lots of hardware behind us already in the works. And it's a great day for Blue Origin. And we're so proud of everyone who's been a part of Team Blue up until this point.
Absolutely. And you can actually see the difference even between now, today and Sunday. They're getting ready to work on, looks like this one is going to be the next forward. We've got another forward. We've got another aft over here. So we've got a lot of rockets that are coming down the line. But we're just feeling pretty good about, cautiously optimistic. We know how difficult this is. I'm going to lose my mind if we land this booster today. But as we mentioned, we've got other hardware coming down the line.
Yeah, and landing the booster, it's no easy undertaking. Now, our team, including myself, recently had the opportunity to spend a day at sea with our Jacqueline crew and learn more about the operation of landing and securing the booster. A live look at Jacqueline right there. Now, this is an operation and a moment that will change the course of Blue Origin history. Check it out.
The Jacqueline is that landing platform vessel where New Glenn will come down, land, and we secure it and bring it back in.
She's 380 foot long, 150 foot wide, and she's a self-propelled vessel. We are the recovery side of the operation. This is where GS1 is going to land, and actually that feather is a center point.
We have to leave 4 days before launch. We check all our equipment, and we ensure that everything is working, everything is fully functional. We transit for 300 to 400 miles, depending on how far the landing location is. And once we get there, dynamic positioning allows the thrusters on board here will hold this in position within a range of about 10 feet.
We'll have a couple small changes of Jacqueline's position. They're going to feed us new coordinates, right? So we might move 500 yards this direction, a little that way, but we're generally in the area. And right up to like 45 minutes or an hour before, that's our final position.
When the booster lands, the ROV will come out. Once it's mated with the booster effectively, we'll start pumping high-pressure nitrogen into the booster, which will allow the detanking process to continue to make the booster inert and safe for us to operate around.
These are the transit stands. These are what we actually use to secure GS1 to the deck.
Each one of these units is individually controlled. We'll have 6 different operators operating them out under the vehicle, and then we're able to lock out the stands, which basically rigidizes GS1 to the LPV deck and allows us to bring it home.
The complexity of what we do out here is pretty important because we operate in such an isolated environment. We're hundreds of miles offshore. We're relying on satellite communication.
The one thing about working on the ocean and in the elements, we fight it. It never wants to work with you. The best you can do is just get along with it. I hope people understand how important reusability is to this program. Us being out here and allowing us to retrieve these vehicles and bring back and reuse them, we reduce the cost, we reduce pollution.
My favorite part of being Team Blue is how everybody works together as a very cohesive group. This is really, really rewarding just to kind of see everyone marching together towards one successful landing operation.
And you've got a live look right there of Jacqueline in all her glory. And Ariane, I have to tell you, what was so great about going out with that team is, of course, they go out for days, sometimes weeks, sometimes a multitude of weeks at a time, and they're eating, sleeping, playing cards together, but also they're going through the operations. And for someone who doesn't know, can you explain, Ariane, why it's so difficult to bring a first stage back to Earth?
Well, let me just start with the basics. You have a 200-foot tall tower that has just been 120 kilometers up, and we're trying to hit a 150-foot by about 400-foot boat out there, and then the landing pad, as you see, is even smaller than that. Fun fact, the landing pad that you see there, the circle, is the same diameter as the landing pad for New Shepard. So to give you a sense, that's hard. So you've got this huge 200-foot tall tower that's coming in. We're going to slow it down with first a reentry burn, then we're going to do another burn to slow it down, and then we're just with 3 engines, then shut it down to just 1 engine.
That's right.
And we do have throttling capability on the first stage, and it'll come in for a nice soft landing, because if you think about it, it was full of fuel on the way up. When it comes down, it's essentially an empty fuel tank. So while it is heavy and very tall,
there's those engines right there.
The 7 BE4 engines, and the center engine is the one that's going to be doing all the hard work as it comes in just in the last seconds there. And so you don't need as much power. We can pull back on the power for a nice soft landing. And when we do, it will be an extraordinary day. But we've talked about it. This is just the beginning.
It really is.
We will bring this rocket back, we'll refurbish it, we'll examine it. We've got all sorts of thoughts on what we're going to need to do to refurbish the vehicle. But our whole game plan, launch, land, repeat, is to be able to flip this rocket around and fly it again very shortly here. I should say with New Shepard, we landed the first time in November of 2015.
And here we are 10 years later.
And here we are, well, 10 years later, yeah, but it only took us about 2 months to flip around the first rocket that had ever gone to space and back. So we've got kind of same time scales that we're thinking here. It's not going to, we want to go fast on this.
And if you're taking a look at your screen, you see New Glenn on the pad, and on the upper right-hand corner, you see L minus 4 minutes and about 6 seconds. That's going to change to a T minus any moment, and that is really when the vehicle itself is starting to run on its own. We're going to start being able to hear our mission ops, Patrick Moore.
AFSS timer enabled.
Terminal count system is active. From here on out, the vehicle is running fully autonomously on software.
Safe engaged. T minus 330. Rapid retract armed. Magic charge initiated.
How exciting here. We're ticking down in 3 minutes. We're going to launch this vehicle to space. We're going to put 2 satellites on their way to Mars, and we're going to try to land that booster for the first time. So exciting, and a big props to our launch control team that has managed to do a recycle on this vehicle. We want to fly today, Tabitha.
Oh, there are the cheers, yes! The energy is palpable. Our launch director, Megan Lewis, she's in the control room now. I know this is an exciting moment from her. There we have employees from all across the United States. This is Huntsville, Alabama. Big shout out to our teams there. And of course,
GS1 pre-press
HQ,
start.
Kent Washington, we
Kent
see you.
Washington.
All right, rocket going through its last
GS2
motions here,
pre-press start.
making sure the tanks are pressurized to their proper flight levels.
That's right.
A warm day in Florida, but that rocket is super cold
Nice
with
and
its chilled
cool.
in propellants. T-minus 2 minutes to go. LNG on the first stage, liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen on the second stage. New Glenn looking beautiful. And there you go.
Beachgoers with a great view.
What makes this place so special down here on the Space Coast? A day on the beach, but you can sit there because our pad is so far south. A spectacular view for everybody here in Cocoa Beach.
Now we've transitioned from ground power to the vehicle's own internal power. I mean, we are getting close. Aria, hold my hand. I'm getting really excited. There are those BE4s, 7 of them, ready to take New Glenn.
3.85 million pounds of thrust combined.
T-minus 60 seconds.
In just 60
Range
seconds
green,
here, as
AFSS
mentioned
flight
before.
enabled.
We will light 4 of the engines, then 3 of the engines, just about a second or 2 off for a staggered start. You'll see the big water deluge, and that's when you know that it's game on.
I love hearing all those sounds.
You hear the power up.
You certainly do.
And with that,
you'll see that water any second now.
Let's turn it over to launch control. Let's go, New Glenn.
GS1 hydraulics internal.
Never tell me the
GS1 at flight
odds.
level. GS2 at flight level. Autopilot enabled. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up, detector. Tense motion. New Glenn has cleared the tower. Pushing 7 good engines. 30 seconds into flight. Engine operating parameters continue to look good at full thrust. Body weight response to nominal. 40 seconds in. End of roll strict now level. 50 seconds into flight. Continue to see good engine operating parameters. All set for
A clean burn. We're coming up here on max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. This is the hardest point on the vehicle when it comes to the pressures and the speed. We want to see this rocket punch through that max Q.
Seeing good TDC control, good MR control. 1 minute, 15 seconds in. Now passing Mach 1, New Glenn is now supersonic.
Supersonic!
And we can hear the
1 minute, 30 seconds. Engine operating parameters continue to look good at full thrust. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. 1 minute, 45 seconds in.
We are past max
All
Q.
7
The
V4
level
engines
is
continue to
real.
look good. Body rate's nominal. Seeing good control on MR and TDC. Acceleration profile nominal. Now passing 2 minutes into flight.
BE4s, unreal.
One minute remaining in boost phase.
All right, right, 1 minute remaining in boost phase. You heard our team say. Then we'll hit MECO, main engine cutoff. That's going to lead to a sequence of events. We will separate the first stage from the second, and that's when the first stage is going to begin its journey back home. We're going to see if we can land the booster separately. Of course, we will get the second stage off and going with the NASA Escapade satellites on board on their way to Mars.
Trajectory continues to look good, seeing good data quality coming down from the vehicle. Body rate response
Great to hear that. Good data quality.
All 7 engines continue
looking
to look
nominal.
Good.
Next up, MECO, which is main engine cutoff. The cheers are real. You can hear them all the way in here.
And we have MECO.
And we have MECO.
And we have good stage set.
We have good stage separation.
And we have ignition on stage 2. Both engine parameters look good.
Ignition.
Oh, you see the 2 rockets there.
Body rate stamping out nicely. Both B3U engines look good at the high thrust set point. Body rate responses look good. 3 minutes, 43 seconds into flight.
Look at that view.
We have good indication of payload fairing jettison. Both B3U engines continue to look good. Body rate response is nominal. Seeing good data coming down from both stages.
Great data. We're 4 minutes into NG2.
And you saw the spectacular view from down from our GS2.
Continue to look good. This is a 9.5 minute burn for GS2. 4 minutes, 25 seconds into flight.
Wow. All right, at 9 minutes is when we're expecting the first stage to touch down on Jacqueline.
Approximately 2 minutes remaining in the GS1 coast.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us for NG2. So far, a nominal mission.
GS2 is now 320 kilometers downrange, traveling at 2.8 kilometers per second. Trajectory continues to look good on both stages.
Clean separation, clean fairing
right down the middle of the range
jettison.
track. Engine operating parameters on GS2 look good.
Sounds like our GS2 is having a beautiful ride. The NASA Escapade satellites are exposed to space right now. And we've got GS1 coming down for landing
GS2 body
at
rate's
T
nominal.
plus 9 minutes.
One minute remaining in the GS1 coast. Continue to see good data coming down from both GS1 and GS2. Body rates on both stages look good. The B3U engines look good.
Everything looking good, looking nominal.
Seeing good TVC
And
and
Ari,
MR
on this
control
moment
on
coming up
GS2.
is an important one.
Trajectory
It is.
continues to look good.
We're going to relight the BE4 engines for the reentry
Body rates
burn.
snowing out on GS1. The exo turn is complete.
There you go. It's about 300,000 feet, less than 100
6 minutes,
kilometers
30
up
seconds
there,
into
coming
flight.
in for a landing on the Jacqueline, 375 miles offshore, waiting for the first time to land
And
Blue
standing by for
Origin's
GS1
New Glenn
ignition
booster
shortly.
on the Jacqueline.
Continue to see body rates on GS1.
That looks great. We have our booster reentry burn.
All
3 engines.
No matter what happens next, we have had a good day. This is further than we made it on NG1.
That's right.
See indication of engine ignition on GS1. Continue to see good data from GS1.
About a minute and a
GS2
half
engine parameters look good.
is when we would see.
Confirm engine cutoff.
Never
on
tell me
GS1.
the odds. Return to Earth.
You
7
see it in
minutes,
kind of
40 seconds
horizontal
into flight.
position. We've got the strakes on the base of the booster, which give it lift. So we can basically fly this booster. Of course, we're using the forward fins as well, plus some of our reaction control system to, as well as the gimbling
GS1
on the
now
beaten
passing
forward
30% max
engines
Q.
to
Passing
turn
8 minutes
the rocket
into flight.
accordingly. On here, it starts to tilt
GS1
down.
now halfway
1
in its
minute to
planned
go.
burn. GS1 system,
Less than
GS2 systems
40,000
continue to look good. GS2 throttle down complete. Responses look good. Eight minutes, 20 seconds in flight. Turning back to landing burn ignition. And we have landing burn ignition. See 3 good engines.
We've got our booster landing burn.
Engine control looks good.
Of course those clouds are there.
8 minutes, 43 seconds in flight. Legs deployed. Now
A
down to
great
engine
shot
burn.
from our booster.
Standing by for touchdown. Standing by for touchdown. Touchdown confirmed. GS2 continuing to work. Burn system looks good. Weapon operation. GS2 systems continue to operate well as it's continuing to expand burn. Look good. And good on GS2 trajectory is now right down the middle of the racetrack. 10 minutes, 15 seconds.
Congratulations, Team Blue. You did it.
Now passing 10 minutes, 40 seconds into flight. GS2 trajectory continues to look good. Body rate's phenomenal. Tank pressures look good. Engine operating parameters look good. GS2 is now 1,600 kilometers downrange, traveling at 5.9 kilometers per second.
On the right-hand side, GS2. On the left-hand side, you have our booster, our
Less
new
than
Blink
2 minutes
booster.
now remaining to
Never
Chico.
tell me the odds. Right there on the Jacqueline, in the middle of that feather. Absolutely incredible. Congratulations, guys.
A landed orbital rocket. What an incredible
What a day.
for Blue Origin, for the space industry.
GS2 systems continue to look good through its burn.
I'm speechless, which is rare for me.
Approximately 1 minute remaining in the burn.
GS2 continues.
Of course, on a nominal path.
On a nominal path. I need a second to catch my breath.
Your body rates remain stable.
I think I heard my hand banging on the table too much. This is incredible.
PVC and MR. Tank pressures are nominal. Bottle pressures are stable.
Oh, I'm getting word they're going to replay the landing. That's something so good, you got to watch it twice. Give it back to us.
12 minutes, 30 seconds in the flight.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Standing by for Chico 1 shortly.
Landing
Perfect.
of the first stage of New Glenn with the one central BE4. Let's wait here for our second stage. It's going to cut off its engine. It's done its first burn.
NVS Seco GS2 engine cutoff.
Seco 1.
Yeah.
Seco 1 is confirmed. GS2 right down the track.
Damping out nice.
Currently in the coast phase.
We have one for two so far on our two objectives for our second mission of New Glenn. We have landed the booster for the first time ever. And next up, in about 20 minutes here, we are going to separate the blue and gold satellites of NASA's Escapade mission. Of course, the most important thing of any launch is making sure you get your payload where they need to go.
And there's our team in Ken. Hey guys, that's right. Oh, I see the celebration.
Huntsville, thank you. Thank you for those beautiful engines.
GS2 systems are operating nominally as the vehicle is in its first
We
coast.
love you too, Huntsville.
Of every single person that works here at Blue Origin. And Eddie, you're with our friends here at Rocket Park.
Hey,
give it to us. What's going on?
Next stop,
At this time in flight, GS2 is now 3,020 kilometers downrange, traveling 7.9
Guys,
kilometers per
what a
second.
day, what a momentous occasion, an incredible opportunity to witness live.
Eddie, I'm going to be honest with you. It's so loud around you. They're chanting so loud, and rightfully so. I'm having a hard time hearing you. But you got to tell me, what is this moment like for you, Eddie? You've been here a long time. You've seen the New Shepard booster land for the first time, and now you're watching New Glenn.
10 minutes remaining in the coast.
Yeah, this one was way better. Just incredible to watch. We're just here. Launch, land, repeat. It starts today.
Launch, land, repeat. I love it, Eddie. And I believe we also have some video, of course, of the celebrations happening all throughout Rocket Park, in every corner of what is going on in this building. Here's a moment. And of course, that's mission control, launch control. Where is it? You know you're going to see it when they do it. There it is.
Oh, in the middle there, you see Jeff Bezos, Jordan Charles, the head of our New Glenn program, Dave Limp.
Celebrations all around. And there you have it. Let's show it to you one more time.
15 minutes
Our New Glenn booster out on the Jacqueline.
From GS2
oh, I can't wait till she comes home.
I have never seen anything more beautiful. Not since the first landing of New Shepard in November of 2015. My goodness, we are almost
10 years
almost
later.
Exactly 10 years apart to land our booster. Just incredible. And now we're watching here. We've got a map here on the left. That's our stage one that, of course, made this beautiful landing on the Jacqueline, 375 miles off the coast. And what you're seeing there in the center of your screen, GS2 with NASA's Escapade satellites on board. We're waiting. We have about another 16, 17 minutes until we deploy the two satellites.
That's right.
First the blue, then 30 seconds later, the gold to give them some space. And then about 5 minutes after that, we also have what we call a hosted payload on board, a Viasat radio tech demonstrator on board that we will also power on. But right now, all 3 payloads are exposed to space and are on a beautiful flight, a completely nominal flight.
That's right.
So far on its way to space and waiting for deployment here.
And at 17 minutes into flight, landing the booster, of course, was a historic moment for us here at Blue Origin. But the show isn't over. Still tracking, of course, deployment of Escapade. And here's some of the milestones we want you to be aware of over the next 20-ish minutes. All right, at the T+25 minute, the second stage engine will ignite. At T26:44, we're going to have SECO 2, which is that second stage engine cutoff. And then, of course, at the T+33 minute mark, and that's when we finally get to see Escapade deployed. They're going to deploy and separate at about 30 seconds apart. First blue separation and then gold separation. And finally, as you mentioned, Ariane, we will have at about T+38 minutes that Viasat tech demonstration will turn on. But we have got one accomplishment under our belt, and as we await the second one with our mission today, I got the chance to actually catch up with Dr. Shannon Curry. Now, she's a project scientist on Escapade, and she explains how long it took to get to this point with Escapade and what this moment means for their missions.
Approximately 6.5 minutes remaining in the coast. These 2 body rates have remained stable throughout the coast and continue to see good data coming down from the vehicle. Trajectory is nominal.
Shannon, can you kind of explain how Escapade really encapsulates the past, the present, and the future?
Yes, especially working with Blue Origin. What Escapade can do is tell us about what happened at Mars billions of years ago. It used to be habitable with oceans and lakes of water, but then something happened to its atmosphere. All of that water evaporated and dried up, and now we have this desert that it is today. And that brings us to today, which is that if we understand Mars's atmosphere and what it's doing, we can help protect future assets, especially not just robots landing on the surface, knowing how they enter that atmosphere safely, but it's not an if, it's a when humans actually go to Mars, and that brings us to our future. And so Escapade, working with a company like Blue Origin, is going to change how we get to Mars and how we protect our assets there, our robots and our crewed flight.
What is the most exciting part about being a part of this project for you?
So the thing I'm the most excited about is that this is going to change how we go to Mars. So we've never done a mission like this at NASA or really in any other part of the world. And using all of these commercial sectors where we're pushing the envelope and we're doing incredible kinds of technology to get low cost, high risk science and get our taxpayers the best bang for their buck, you can't beat that.
So can you dive in a little more and explain how both commercial and academic
now just
partnerships
past 20 minutes
lead to something
into flight,
like
less than 5 minutes
Absolutely.
remaining in the coast.
The academic environment means you just get to think for a living. You get to think of these ideas, and this is where the theory comes in. But then the commercial partnerships, these are the experiments.
And we are now
these are the
seeing
people
tank
who make
pressures
it happen.
increasing
They
in
make all of
preparation
our
for the next burn.
dreams in academia, all of our dreams at universities happen. And NASA then enables that. So you have this like perfect 3 points of this like pyramid to do incredible and great things at places like Mars.
How long has this project been underway? I mean, when did the first idea for Escapade come about, bringing it to today?
Rob and I started thinking about this mission back in 2016 and 2017, and it took years of planning and years of iteration until we found the right partners, we found the right spacecraft, we found the right rocket, and here we are today. So we are coming up on 10 years in the making to make this happen.
So 10 years in the making to get us to the point of launch. And then once it launches, you have another, let's see, we're in 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, another 5-ish years of getting the data before you get the data and then processing that.
5 years of science to me sounds like heaven. So I think for some folks waiting is hard, but for the science team, we are ecstatic. We will take every single bit of data that we can get. And again, with working with our partners, being able to get all of that data and enabling this incredible opportunity to explore not just Mars, but actually the entire trajectory there, that's science waiting to happen.
What is your message to all the collaborators who've had hands on Escapade at this moment in time as you're kind of just waiting for it to deploy?
to all of our collaborators,
3 minutes remaining
thank
to
you
engine
from the
ignition.
bottom of my heart. We're so excited. We can't wait to work with you, and we're going to totally change how we do things at Mars. As we get ready for launch, my final thoughts are go Escapade, go Blue, and we're so happy to be here.
And we're so grateful to have you on the team.
Thank you
so much. Yeah. Of course, so great to be able to hear from Dr. Shannon Curry. The booster there, though, on the pad. It is a moment we are still kind of taking in and processing. Ariane, you and I.
Buzzing.
I'm excited.
Speechless. I am trembling. My jaw is still on the desk here. An incredible day. The star there.
Right.
The second booster of New Glenn. The stars, more than 10,000 employees here at Blue Origin. If you guys aren't as in shock as I am, this team has done an incredible job.
Absolutely.
In the years, in the months leading up to this, in the minutes. There they are.
There's the team. That's Kent, Washington, our headquarters. Wall-to-wall people, by the way.
To see our launch control recycle like that, to see the team flip around the rocket from a valiant attempt on Sunday, dealing with solar weather that we haven't seen in years. Working closely with our customers, especially with NASA. Thank you for your patience.
And there's Huntsville, Alabama.
Just an incredible, the epitome of teamwork all the way along to this moment to see New Glenn
the odds.
Under 1 minute.
And if you didn't know, that is what we have named this booster. It has been 10 years, as you said, Ariane, almost to the day.
Almost to the day.
Since we landed the New Shepard booster. And here we are in this incredible moment. And today, you and I talked about this earlier. Today felt like the day. We walked in, and this was it.
It felt right. It felt right. I'll tell you, Tabitha, I was there for the New Shepard's first landing. And it was a much different Blue Origin. We had a couple hundred people. There were about a dozen or so of us off this back wooden porch with the radio, listening to launch control call the shots as we saw the New Shepard rocket come down a couple miles downrange with our naked eye.
Right.
And you lose New Shepard over the horizon, but you saw this billow of dust, and we heard touchdown, and it was this same roar, this elation. But today, as Eddie said, it feels so similar, but it also feels so different in the sense that
pressures look good.
Getting this rocket to space and to be able to reuse this booster is opening a new chapter for Blue Origin. It's opening a new chapter for the space industry. It's opening a new chapter for space as whole, as not just domestically but internationally, to have more rockets that can be reusable, to have competition on the market, to bring down the cost of accessing space so that our customers, whether it's NASA, whether it's our friends at Amazon Kuiper that have signed up, whether it's Viasat, we want to be able to share this with the world. And as our founder, Jeff Bezos, has said, you know, there's so many organizations that want to go up and access space and use those assets. And he, as an investor, he's seen so many companies that have come to him and said, well, that's nice, but all of these organizations die on the vine unless you can reduce the cost of accessing space. And by having another reusable orbital rocket to be able to do that is huge. I cannot wait to see what this rocket looks like when we bring her back into port in just a couple of days. Bring her back to our integration facility and get a look at this beautiful rocket. What a day.
And as we take a look at GS2, right now we are approaching SECO 2, which is second engine cutoff.
And we have SECO Good shutdown
Seco
on
is
both
confirmed.
engines.
So we have a map for you on your screen, but soon we should be back and able to communicate with our ground stations, and we would have a picture for you. Right now, we are under 10 minutes until we're able to deploy Escapade. And if we do that, I mean, what a birthday gift to Dr. Nikki Fox.
Yes.
Final coast prior to spacecraft separation.
So far, I'm so glad we had a shot of our Huntsville, Alabama team. They have built beautiful engines, the 7 BE4 engines that performed so wonderfully on the first stage. And now, as we have heard, the 2 BE3U engines up in space had 2 clean burns, giving the Escapade satellites a wonderful ride to where they need to go, setting them up on their trajectory to make it to Mars.
And you know what? While we wait for this epic moment coming up with Escapade, let's send it back over to Eddie Seifert with our crew here at Rocket Park. Eddie, I know the celebrations have already started, but of course, the show isn't over. We are awaiting the deployment of Escapade. How are you feeling? How are they feeling?
All operating nominally.
Is everyone I know pretty excited about making mission number 1 check and mission number 2 coming up?
Tabitha, Ariane, I don't know where to start. First off, it was pandemonium here, and just a feeling of utmost pride and gratitude that we got to witness that. I had to step back because the party's ongoing. I can see it with my eyes. It's just years of hard work. You know, there was chants while we were doing the last session, and it was next stop Moon. This is the beginning. Today is day 1. You know, at Blue Origin we say gradatum ferociter. This was a ferocious step.
Yeah, that's to put it lightly, a ferocious step. I think I was screaming and banging on the desk. Ariane, you were almost in tears. I know this moment for all of us, and we are here on TV just representing, as you said, the more than 10,000 employees. We get to peek into Huntsville and to Kent and into Van Horn, but everywhere across this country, I think people are celebrating knowing that we've really made this big step that you've mentioned toward making space more accessible. And I know there's future generations watching right now. I know there's people from all around the world, as far as Brazil, watching right now. And those individuals have to know that we are setting up the future. That's the only way I know how to put it. We are setting up the future. Today was a monumental step for that.
Well, you see, future generations. I actually got a photo from my husband who has my babies propped up and watching this. And I'll tell you, my 3-year-old, she just thinks that our rocket launches and lands.
Oh, yeah, that's all she's ever known.
That's all she has ever known. So to be able to show her this live,
now passing 30 minutes into flight.
Super proud of being part of this team. I always have, and today is an extraordinary highlight. Eddie, you've been here along with me for 11 years. How do you feel?
Well, no, congratulations. I mean, as you were talking about earlier, how we were sitting in the back porch of Mission Control in West Texas 10 years ago, almost to the day, and how far you've come. You know, your girls are looking at you. That's your rocket that landed today. That's all our rockets, but a special congratulations
to you. That's our rocket, that's right.
No, there's so many reflections that, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you're right. You know, it's our rocket. It's such something that just brings our team together. I know we can't turn the camera around. I can't imagine why. But how are those celebrations still looking? How many people would you imagine are up there with you?
Well, we were 500 plus strong, more or less, throughout the whole party. And the energy never abated through the first go-no-go poll for terminal count, up to the first 20-second countdown, and in the recycle, the spirits were high.
Eddie, the spirits are high, and they're going to continue. I can't wait to talk to you after this webcast, give you a high five, but you're looking at a live look. This is Escapade in space, the twin spacecrafts that will be heading to Mars in 2027. For the first time ever, 2 spacecrafts at the same time are going to be studying the red planet. And also, for the first time ever, we're able to send this in kind of this in-between period. We didn't have to hit that exact Mars window because they're going to make their way to Mars on the right trajectory. And this is something completely unique for NASA and for us here at Blue Origin. Again, there's a live look at the Jacqueline, the booster, so aptly named, never tell me the odds, sitting so perfectly on that feather, unlike anything we've ever seen. And in the next minute here, you are going to see those payloads deploy. What a moment.
Hopefully we'll get that live shot again. We had what's called an ESPA ring that's on top of the payload adapter, and they are on the payload ring, the ESPA ring laterally. So first the blue satellite's going to deploy. 30 seconds later, the gold will deploy, and then we also have the Viasat tech demonstrator at 38 minutes into launch that will also turn on.
Yes, you can follow along right here on your screen. The telemetry there at the bottom. In the next 40 seconds, that is the moment where mission objective number 2 will hopefully be coming to fruition.
Coming up on 33 minutes into flight. We're standing by for spacecraft 1 SEP shortly. Vehicle body rates are remaining stable, leading into the separation event. Standing by for spacecraft SEP. And we have good indication of Escapade Blue spacecraft separation.
We do have payload separation confirmed. Go Blue. Second payload coming up, as we mentioned. Just about a couple of seconds more here.
Standing by for spacecraft 2 SEP.
Oh, beautiful live shot from over 700 miles
gold
in space.
Confirmed.
And gold has separated. Congratulations, Escapade. Both blue and gold have successfully deployed. We have successfully landed the booster, and we have successfully deployed both the blue and gold satellites for Escapade.
2 for 2. There goes our robotic vehicle that is securing the GS1 onto the Jacqueline.
That's right.
Absolutely spectacular. Escapade, you are headed to Mars. And so there you go, our automated robotic vehicle. To be very clear, we didn't clarify this earlier. There are no people on the Jacqueline right now. It's just that robotic vehicle that is going around the rocket, making sure that we definitely
We're safing the vehicle.
We're safing the vehicle and making sure that those landing legs are pegged down. The seas are nice and calm today. It was a rough ride the last couple of days out there. But of course, we want to make sure that our 200-foot tall rocket out there on the Jacqueline is nice and there it goes, is nice and stable. And shortly after, we will of course have the Harvey Stone, which is the boat that has our team out there. They will approach the Jacqueline, and we will put our team up there as well as soon as the rocket is stable, we want to make sure, of course, that it's essentially neutralized, make sure the propellants are nice and stable, if not completely purged from the system, as well as have a stable rocket out there. Safety is number one. But Tabitha, we are 2 for 2 on today's mission. NG2, a historic day for New Glenn and Blue Origin.
I keep telling you, I'm speechless, and I really am. It has been such an epic day. In about, goodness, couple of minutes here, also that Viasat demonstrator will turn on. That's an exciting thing. That's a payload kind of hitching a ride with our friends at NASA. And it's just been so great to work with so many customers and to also show the world that, hey, we're here. We're in the game. We have a reusable booster, and this is just the beginning.
No, and we said it on the last webcast. We've got NASA Escapade, but of course there are other organizations, UC Berkeley,
Right.
Advanced Space,
Rocket Labs
that have been part of that mission. But we've also got Viasat being one of the foremost satellite operators in the world. And these organizations took a chance on us.
They did.
We get it. It was a new rocket. It had not flown when we signed with them. This means a lot to us that you have
Now
put your
37 minutes
technology,
into flight.
your babies,
Just
in our
under
hands on
2
top of this
minutes now
rocket.
remaining to
You
CSP
trusted
turn
our
on.
team. You trusted our method. We got you there, and we cannot wait to take our other
GS2 is
signed
continuing
customers
to its
as well as our
planned
other
post-separation
future to-be
sequence.
signed
All
customers.
systems
We are
continue
open
to
for
look
business,
good.
baby. On New Glenn, a new day, a new chapter has just opened for, as we said, Blue Origin, but also the space industry.
Would you
Let's
say
go.
a new era? Would you
It's
say
a new era. It's a new era.
This is it. It's a new era. And as we said, at the T plus about 38-minute mark, which is happening here in the next 20-ish seconds, that's when the Viasat demonstrator should be turning on. But not to worry, if we don't get an immediate signal, that is totally okay, because that just means it's not connecting to the ground system. They wait about another hour and then they try again. So
1 minute
some
remaining to
exciting
CSP turn
stuff. And then just to know that we were a part of a payload going to Mars that we're going to be getting data from that is going to tell us so much more about the Red Planet. For us to send future humans to the Red Planet, how epic is that? Today was the first day in at least a 5-year mission.
Yeah, no, we're going to be soaking this in for another 5 years. The power of this mission. We're gonna feel it. It's not just something that's up and
30
back.
seconds to CSP
I
turn
mean,
on.
it is something that's up and back. I take that back. Look at that rocket. That rocket is up and back. But the other objective, of course, are payloads with NASA Escapade. Will be working hard for us and working hard for NASA.
Yeah, and right now, there you have it. There is New Glenn out on the Jacqueline, right in the middle of the feather. Our ROV is currently helping safe the vehicle. And I mentioned with you, I got to go out on the Jacqueline and they explain the operations. This is just step 1. Then they're going to be able to go and secure all of those landing legs. And then once everything is good to go, a crew can come right back on the Jacqueline and get ready to bring it back here to Cape Canaveral.
And I mentioned this.
Oh wait, I just heard CSP has powered on. Viasat has powered on. It has made connection. That's a bonus. That's 3 for 3.
3 for 3. A great day for our customers, and that is really, really important. And you see our we've talked about our robotic vehicle that is down there.
Right.
We mentioned it at the beginning of the webcast. That landing pad is the same, has the same diameter, the landing zone, as New Shepard.
I know, New Shepard. And it's only 150 feet wide. So it's about 400 feet long, Jacqueline is, and 150 feet wide. I want you to imagine landing a skyscraper on something that is that size. Incredible. Oh, and then there you have it. There is, of course, we're continuing to monitor GS2, but now we know Escapade is deployed, Viasat is working. So with that, it has been an incredible, fantastic. I don't know if there's enough words for me to say about what this day means for everyone here at Blue, for the space industry, for New Glenn, and for Escapade. Just wow. Yeah.
I mean, let's take a moment to reflect on the key moments of today's mission.
Yeah.
We not only met our mission objectives today, we exceeded them.
That's right.
Some of those, just to call them out. We had a clean liftoff. The 7 BE-4 engines, they burn that beautiful blue LNG. I wish we could say that we planned it like that, but no, we use the LNG because it's beautiful. It works really well on these BE-4s.
Good launch vehicle data through
Stage
the CSP
separation.
System.
The two stages separated. We then had the second stage that made a nice clean burn to get our payloads into orbit. We safely delivered the payloads. And then, of course, we had the first booster landing ever of New Glenn.
Oh, what happened? Did something happen today?
Yeah, we had there's that
something?
thing that happened. New Glenn came back for the first time ever. These are just incredible feats of engineering. It is very hard to do. I think by now we kind of we think that it's just normal. As I said, my child thinks that it's normal, but it is so difficult when you're trying to land. And now the next step, the next critical step for our team here will be to get that booster back, look and see how it's performed, and of course, do the refurbishment on it, because we are going to fly that booster again.
Absolutely. That was just round one. And of course, Ariane, I just have to tell you for a moment, it's been an honor to have you here on the desk with me. I mean, you have such an incredible career under your belt, being able to help walk our viewers through every important step and every important moment here. I mean, you are just the legend herself. So thank you. And I'm so grateful I got to share this moment with you, holding your hands, holding our breaths, watching the booster land. So.
Thank you, Tabitha. It's been an honor, and thank you so much for being on the desk with me. And this is a day that I will never forget. It's being able to be part of this flight today. It's been something so central to the work of us here at Blue Origin.
Right.
For so long, not just since we landed New Shepard, but since we started this company, and to be part of this historic day. I mean, people have said, well, why have you stayed so long at Blue? Why do I stay so long at Blue? Because we're doing extraordinary things, and we have an extraordinary team. It's an honor to be part of this squad.
And it's been an honor for me to be able to represent more than 10,000 of you here on the desk, being able to speak for Team Blue. But if you were inspired, listen, I love a shameless plug, so come here. If you were inspired and energized by what you saw today, because as we said, this is just the beginning, we do really cool stuff here. I mean, look, you can host a webcast, you can launch a rocket, you can build engines. If you want to learn more, go to blueorigin.com/careers, because we would love to have you help us build the road to space. And as you just saw, we're pretty good at it.
We're going to Mars today. We're going to Moon. The Moon is a team. We're also going our own payloads to Mars. You want to build those? You said build the road to space. Come join us. But hey, maybe maybe you're not ready for that step. That's okay. You still want to help celebrate this moment. You can get some great launch gear in our Blue Origin shop. Pick up the look at that sweet mission patch to capture today's momentous event. Join us. Visit online, shop.blueorigin.com.
Yeah, real quick, we have to plug this patch. A couple of things to notice. New Glenn's second stage mission, ascending to Mars with Escapade. Top right, you'll see the nod to NASA's Escapade spacecraft that are orbiting Mars. There's also the New Glenn booster in the landing configuration. You know you want the patch because this is the one that we landed the booster on. And the colors, they represent that red-orange hues of the Martian soil and the New Glenn's BE-4 engines. Historic launch.
You too were part of today's history. And to the many people at Blue Origin who have spent years designing this rocket, building this rocket, testing it, getting it ready for today, we want to say thank you to you. We also want to say thank you to the FAA and to the range down here in Florida for supporting us, to the state of Florida, from the governor on down. Thank you. You are part of this team as well. This is going to conclude our second mission for New Glenn. The next era of space flight at Blue Origin is upon us.
It feels so good to say that. Once again, my name is Tabitha Lipkin. For myself, Ariane Cornell, Eddie Seifert, and every single person here at Blue Origin, more than 10,000 employees, we want to say thank you, and we are going to see you on the next launch. Welcome to the next era for Blue Origin. Until next time, stay cool and Gradatum Ferociter.